Hi guys, this is Donna with Love Rocks, and today we're going to do this little teddy bear. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to our channel, and if you haven't, please subscribe and comment down below so that you can be put into the drawing for this rock. So now let's get started. So one of our subscribers wanted a teddy bear, and I've been kind of looking around and trying to find something that I liked, and I found this one. This is a teddy bear that I found off of some artwork off of the internet. It is art that is used for putting on stationery. And so I want to make sure and put that out there. I found it off of Ping Wing, which is PNGWINGLLD, and it's a art. It just has clip art on it, so it's a type of clip art that you can order or put onto something. So I wanted to give them credit. So anyways, you'll see in the beginning when I am working on the sketch that I'm really going back over and trying to sketch that a little bit darker. And that was because using such a dark rock, my sketch came out pretty light. And so I wanted to go back over all those edges so that you could see the sketch. If nothing else, you could pause the video and take a picture of that sketch so that you could make sure and get it in the way you wanted. But I did go back over it quite a bit and try to darken it. Now, I use a mechanical pencil to put in my drawings. And so, with a mechanical pencil, it's straight lead, and I'm putting that on a rough rock, and that rock has a lot of that lead sitting on it, especially when I go over it 2 or 3 times trying to make it dark for you guys. So when I'm painting this and I'm putting the white on the little bear, it tends to go gray because it's picking up that lead. I don't think that I did that on purpose, so I'm not looking for you guys to put a gray color in there. It's just it was picking up that lead. Doesn't hurt anything. That first layer of paint pretty much is just trying to get your coverage, and then you go back in over the top of it and you start putting in your shading and your highlights. So you're not going to see that gray when you get done. So although this is a fairly simple, fun type of painting, there is a lot of shading and a lot of highlights in it. It's a little plush animal, supposedly, and in order to get the roundness that you're looking for, you're going to want to make sure that you get those highlights and those shades in there, up underneath any areas like his arms or down between his legs where no light is getting. You're going to want to make sure that under his chin, those areas have the darker of the color. And then you're going to want the lighter color where any type of light might be hitting. This rock is a pretty small rock. I didn't pick a very big one. I want to say it's probably 2.5 to 3 inches by like 1.5 to 2 inches. It's a pretty small rock compared to some of them I've been doing lately. So I'd like to hear back from you guys. I was thinking about doing a video on nothing but getting ready to paint and the types of things that I do. Instead of doing a painting video, I didn't know how many people out there would like to see that other part of painting rocks, such as what equipment I use. I use just a regular table, but I could show you my light. I could show you my setup for doing video. I could show you how I set up to do my spraying, to spray my rocks. I could show you how I set up my paints, just different things like that. I don't know. I think Several of the people who follow me on a pretty regular basis have their own setups, but I do want to be able to cater to those who don't know exactly where to start. So if you think that that would be something worth watching, please leave me a comment about that, because it is something I'm thinking about doing. There's not a lot of information, but I would say it's a good 15 minutes worth of just showing you where you can get different things. And, something as simple as, where do you get your rocks? How do you pick your rocks? What kind of rocks do you get? What do you do to your rocks before you start painting? And then all the way back down to certain things like, I number my rocks, especially if I'm going to give them away. The reason I number them is I have a spreadsheet with those numbers on it. And so if you ever have problems, I can go back to that spreadsheet. I can tell you who got that rock and when it was painted. It also has a corresponding number to the video that it was in. And just things like that. My plan is to continue to paint as long as I'm able to paint. So, when I get to rock video number 400 or 500, I want to be able to go back and reference something if I need to. So I do number my rocks. If I send a rock to somebody, there will be a number on the back of it, because that rock specifically has information in my database about it. What do I do when I hide rocks? Certain things that I do, I would be putting things like that in there. So, I don't know. I really hope that, I love that people watch the videos for entertainment. I can tell you there are a couple of people that I watch for entertainment. I don't paint with them. I guess I could, but I like watching their style. I like watching how they highlight or how they mix. I have somebody else that I enjoy watching. That person doesn't do anything I would ever do, but I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy listening to that person talk, and they talk about a lot of things that happen in their lives and in the area that they live in, and I really enjoy that. My hope and dream is to one day have a studio that has access to the outside, and I'd like to do some live videos where we can be sitting in my studio and we can be looking outside, and I can have it set up where I can interact while I'm painting. And I would really like to do a couple of lives at some point. I'm not set up for that right now, but that is something that I would like to do in the future. So I'm sure that you guys all have your favorites as well, and people that you like to watch. But if you have ideas about things that you would like for me to make videos about, I would love to hear about it. Right now I'm working my way through some of the comments that I had on Facebook, as well as my YouTube channel, about different things people wanted to see me paint. So I'm working on those. And then, of course, I work on other little things in between. So I do my videos. Those take several hours because you have to video, which can take me up to 2 hours to video if I do it all in one day. And then I have to edit that video, so that can take a couple of hours. 2 to 3 hours, depending on how much editing I have to do, and I still have to do the voiceover. So all of that takes time. Then there's uploading, depending on how the internet is. We actually have pretty good storm, coming through Texas right now. So the upload may take a little extra time today. So we upload. And once it's uploaded and I get all the descriptions in and everything, then I can put it onto the YouTube channel. So, there's a process to the whole thing. And by the time I get done with a video, I've usually got at least 6 hours into a video, 6 or 7. I have increased my hours at work, so I'm working full time now. And which is kind of cutting into my painting time, I'll be honest. But the way I have my art desk set up right now, it's in the bedroom, and my husband and I in the evenings, I can be painting. I'm within a couple of feet of him, and we can be watching a movie together. So it works so that I'm still spending time with him, and we're still doing things together while I'm doing some painting. When I'm not doing that, I'm trying to paint rocks for hiding, which ultimately is my number one reason for doing this. I love to hide rocks, and I've started doing some larger rocks. You've probably seen some of them on my reels. Those are hiding rocks if it's not something that I want to give away, so like to friends and neighbors and things. So I do those, and then when I'm not doing that, sometimes I just do some stuff for me. I do some rocks that I want to try. Every once in a while, I would say at least once a month, I like to push my boundaries. I like to see what I can do. I did one it's probably been about 3 weeks ago, and I really pushed myself to do a landscape, which is not my, where I really do a great job in is landscaping. I try really hard, but I'm not great at landscapes. But anyways, I found one that I loved. It was a mountain scene, and so I decided to try it. I spent about 3 hours on it, hated it, left it on my desk for a couple of days, kept walking past it, still hating it. And so one night I said, you know what? I'm going to take the advice I give my viewers. And I got some blue out for a night sky, and I painted over that rock. And I started over. And what I came up with and what I finished with wasn't quite what I was thinking, but I liked it. It was much better. So that's going to turn into a hiding rock. It's pretty big. It's about 6 inches by about 3 inches. So it's a fairly big rock. But I'll probably hide that rock. And I'll just keep trying. I'll find another outside type landscape that I like, and I'll try it again. So I do tend to push myself sometimes. If it turns out very well, I'll do a reels on it, and I'll put it on so you guys can see it. I'm getting ready to do a mule deer next. So if that one turns out, I'll make sure and put it in my Facebook or my Instagram under a reel, and that way you guys can see it. The only ones I really bring to you guys are the ones that I know are going to turn out well and can give you something. Like, I don't want to do a video on a picture that's not going to be useful for you guys. I want something to have a lot of shading, a lot of curvature, a lot of roundness, so that you can get on here and you can do things. The other thing is I like to give ideas. Like I love doing different things so that you have ideas of things that you can try. I'll tell you what, trying to find new, creative, one-of-a-kind ideas can be difficult sometimes. And so, as long as you give them credit as to where you found it, you can use anything as your pictures. So this little guy, he was a lot of fun. Sweet little thing. It was fun to try to make him round and as lifelike as possible. I kind of wish I had gone with a little bigger rock, only because I would have been able to do better detail. But he's good. He'll be fine on the rock I did. The other thing is, oh man, it's starting to get expensive sending rocks out. I can't believe the postal rates and what they've gone up to. Most of my rocks range anywhere from $5 to $7 to send, unless it's one of the bigger ones, and those are usually about $10 to send. So I do try to keep the ones I'm going to give away down to a certain size. I put the little butterflies on here. That was part of the original picture. I put the little butterflies on here, but I wished I had been able to do a little more detail on that. You know, I love butterflies. So maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll do something with a butterfly on it for our next one. I wanted to deviate a little bit from the gnomes for a bit. We did quite a few in a row, so I'd like to do, maybe a butterfly would be great. I'll start looking for some stuff so that we can do something that has a lot of color to it, a lot of blending. There's a ton of blending when you get into butterflies. And then, of course, you know, even though the wings are fairly flat, you still have some curvature to the body. So that one would be a fun one to do. I'm hoping that this isn't too intense. I did have somebody on my last video say that they were looking for something that was more for beginners. So, I don't know, maybe I need to do just some beginner videos that are very, very, very simple. I'll look into that. I'll see what I've got. But I'm hoping that you'll at least try this one. This tended to be a long video. I tried to shorten it as much as I could, but I would have had to take a lot out of this video in order to shorten it up. As I say that, I'm looking at the video and there's a large section of nothing happening, so I guess I could have taken that out. It's hard to edit these videos and pull things out without taking away from what I want you guys to see. So I do try to edit them down as much as possible, but sometimes they get a little lengthy. I think this one came up to a little over 30 minutes. I've had a couple of people ask me about the Shopify, if we're still going to put a store together, and we are. My intention was to have that done in March. But we have a lot going on. So without getting into too much personal information, I'll just say that things have changed a little bit. We've become very busy finishing up the construction of the house. And then with me moving into more of a full-time position, I could put the store together, but I don't think that I have enough time to get any rocks put into the store. So what I don't want to do is, do this big, exciting, hey, we got our Shopify store up, and then you open it and there's 2 rocks in there. So I guess that's the biggest reason that I'm holding off a little bit. But I promise you, things are going to slow down. We've got some great things happening to us. Our lives are definitely getting ready to change, and they're all super good changes. So bear with me. We will get that Shopify store in there. And once that happens, and once things kind of move forward, and I would say by early summer, I will have a lot more time to paint as well. So we've got good things coming. I hope everybody out there is doing good. I hope you guys are all able to paint. I hope that you guys are able to spend time with your family. You know, that's another thing we don't talk about much is, encouraging other people to paint within your family. You might have a family member, an older family member that doesn't do a lot during the day, that would very much enjoy doing some painting. It doesn't have to be extremely difficult for them, but they might really enjoy doing it. I don't know if you know this or not, but I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 23 years, and the dexterity that you get from, just painting would keep hands, wrists, fingers, and arms all moving. So if you have an older person in your life that doesn't get or isn't unable to get up or unable to move around a lot, that might be really something that you want to look into encouraging, is getting them some paints and some rocks, and really encouraging them to start painting things. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter if they watch my videos or not. Just getting them to do those types of things, that movement would be good for them. This is really a great community for people who have anxiety, for people who have depression, for people who have lost something in their lives and they're looking for friendships. The rock painting community so far, the one that I've been exposed to, has been such a supportive, beautiful, friendly community that I wholeheartedly enjoy being part of it. And I hope that this community stays that way. I've been in other groups for other things. I'm an avid canner. I can a lot. And those groups aren't always friendly or nice. I've been in other types of groups that I've been quite disappointed in the type of people and the interactions that I've seen within those groups. But I can say 100%, the rock painting groups that I've been in, and I'm in about 12 or 13 groups, those groups are very supportive and very nice. I've met some people that I can truly say I call a friend, and I hope that you have the same experience as you're going through these different groups. I'm not sure what to tell you about this painting other than, I showed you at the very beginning the basic colors that I used, and you can use any colors that you want, but I used a brown, a dark brown. You can use any brown that you want. If you want to try to copy these colors, that's fine. I used a camel. You can use any cream color. I used white. You can use any white that you have on hand. And I used black, baby pink, and engine red. And those are my colors. Those are the ones I have on hand. I don't go out and buy new colors every time I do a new rock. If I find a color that I'm like, oh, wow, that's a pretty color, and I don't have that, I will buy that. But there's no sense in buying new and different colors every single time I do a rock. I have quite a few. I probably have 50 colors, but I tend to stick to the same ones most of the time. The thing is, if you have 10, 15 basic colors, you can make any color. And so I tend to make my colors more than buy my colors. I do have a couple of really cool metallics, and I have some really cool glitter type paints, but I mostly use those for my hiding rocks. And so that they're just fun. I don't know if I would ever find anything to paint with them like on my videos. Most of the time I just use them for hiding. So remember, You can use anything you've got. I did put the butterflies that are on this, those were on the original. So I did put those butterflies on. There's one that lands on his nose, and I didn't want to take away from his face. I thought he had the cutest little face, so I didn't put that one in, but I do put the other ones in. As you're doing this, I encourage you, no matter what picture you're looking at, unless it's a live picture, to really keep in mind where your light source is coming from. Like I said, this was a clip art picture, and I found on the clip art that there was a couple of places that the light was coming from two different directions. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing these, if you're taking it from somebody else's or taking it from something like a clip art or picture or something that somebody else has done, just remember not always is it correct. So keep that in mind as you're painting. Anything that's going to be on the downside would be something that you're going to want to make sure that you shade, and try to keep your light coming from the right direction, or at least from the consistent direction. I could have put hair on this little guy. I started to put in a little tiny bit, but I don't know. It's not really the way I wanted him to be. I do a little more of a contemporary type, like edging with a little bit of black, and for me, that's just the way I like to finish some stuff off. Yes, I put a lot of hair on my gnomes. That is their signature piece. But for this little guy, I wanted it to be more of a picture, contemporary type picture thing, and that's why I throw in a little bit of the black edging in certain places, over the top of where I did the highlights in the dark areas. And that was mostly, I don't know, I felt like you couldn't really see some of those edges well, even though I had lights and darks. And I did try to put it in with the brown, and I started with a little bit of black, and I liked the way it looked on it, so I just went ahead and skipped around and did a little bit of black. Any place that I thought there wasn't a clear indication of where the crease was. And there's those little butterflies. Those are, too bad I don't have that pencil pushed down. You can see those butterflies are a little bit smaller than the eraser. They're pretty small there. But I thought they added a nice touch to it. Like I said, it was on the clip art, and I loved it, so I thought, what the heck, let's get those in there. I just picked 4 colors that I happen to have on my desk. That's the one place I encourage you to really just come into your own and do whatever it is that you think would be the prettiest. Whatever you like, just add it in there. And of course, the butterflies are by far not the best looking butterflies, but you get the idea of what they are. And I go back in and add a little bit of dark and a little bit of light so that you can see that they blend from the inside out. And always, always, you can go back at any time and add to your little guy anything that you think you need. I do like the color. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like doing it in brown or if I wanted to do it more in a gray and silver, but I think that the brown turned out well. And when I spray the rock, I'll show that at the end. You'll be amazed at how different it looks. It really does turn out different. That rock color behind the picture really comes out dark. And I knew it was going to, which was the reason that I wanted to make sure and do a light color on it. It's funny, this rock's been sitting on my desk for, man, it's probably been sitting on my desk for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I've passed it over for other pictures several times. But for one reason or another, it was never the one I wanted to use. So this turned out to be like exactly what I was looking for. I have probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 6 milk crates, the old big plastic heavy duty milk crates with rocks in them. And I've got them separated out in sizes, and I just kind of go to those crates and look around when I know what size I want. And then I've got one milk crate that's got nothing but like flagstone, sandstone, whatever you want to call it, in it. So I look through those, and then I've got a couple of buckets with little tiny rocks in it, you know, that are going to be difficult to put anything on. And most of those I use for hiding. But I do have all my rocks pretty much separated out. So I'm not digging through hundreds of rocks trying to find something. And if I am digging for something and I come up across a rock that I like, I do take that out for use later. So there he is, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you try it. And please come back and see us again next week. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.